ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरि ओम। ओम गणानाहं त्वा गणपतिगुं हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमं ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पदानश्चण्वन्नोतिभिस्सीदसादनम्। ओम श्री महागणपतये नमः। श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादशङ्करं लोकशङ्करं। सदाशिवसमारम्भां शङ्कराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे श्रीगुरुपरम्पराम्। ॐ श्रीशङ्कराचार्यस्वामिने नमः। ॐ सहनाववतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। हरिः ओम श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
शारदा राजन भगिनी।
वेदानां सामवेदोऽस्मि देवानामस्मि वासवः इन्द्रियाणां मनश्चास्मि भूतानामस्मि चेतना।
वेरी गुड।
शीला शिंदे भगिनी।
रुद्राणां शङ्करश्चास्मि वित्तेशो यक्षरक्षसां वसुनां पावकश्चास्मि मेरुशिखरिणामहम्।
गुड।
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
पुरोदं सा च मुख्यं मा विद्धि पार्थ बृहस्पतिं सेनानीनामहं स्कन्दः सरसामस्मि सागरः।
गुड।
विजयलक्ष्मी भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
मगर्षीणां भृगुरहं गिरामस्म्येगमक्षरं यज्ञाञ्च जपयज्ञोऽस्मि स्थावराणां हिमालयः।
गुड।
श्रीमती भगिनी।
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते।
अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः गन्धर्वाणां चित्ररथः सिद्धानां कपिलो मुनिः।
एक्सप्लेन अगेन।
अश्वत्थः सर्ववृक्षाणां देवर्षीणां च नारदः।
देवर्षीणां, the she is dirgha. I heard it as devarshi. देवर्षीणां च नारदः।
देवर्षीणां च नारदः।
Okay, good.
Thank
I
you.
think we are done up to this shloka yesterday, right?
यस महोदय।
Okay, so we'll go to the new shloka.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी।
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानाम्
उच्चैश्रवणमश्वानाम् उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानाम्
विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्।
विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्।
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानाम् विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्। Sorry, विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्।
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानाम् विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानाम् विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्।
Good. Next.
के ललिता भगिनी।
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणाम्
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणाम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणाम्
नराणाञ्च नराधिपम्
नराणां च नराधिपम् नराणां च नराधिपम्
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणाञ्च नराधिपम्
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
शरद चवन महोदय
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्
उच्चैश्रवस्वमश्वानां विद्धि मामृतोद्भवम्
माममृतोद्भवम्
ओके सर उच्चैश्रवस्वमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्
Good. Once again.
उच्चैश्रवस्वमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्
Good. Next.
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी
ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणाञ्च नराधिपम्
नमस्ते महोदय।
नमस्ते.
ऐरावतङ्गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् ऐरावतङ्गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
काश्मीरा भगिनी
First line 2 times.
Yes, sir. उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्
Good. Next.
श्री लक्ष्मी भगिनी
Yes, sir. Namaste, sir.
Namaste. Second line 2 times.
Yes, sir. ऐरावतङ्गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम् ऐरावतङ्गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
लक्ष्मी बीबी भगिनी
Full shloka.
Yes, sir. उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी
नमस्ते महोदय
Full shloka.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम्
Yes. Regularly with the mom means again is talking in first person. Me. Amrita Udbhavam. Amrita Udbhavam is the churning of the Milky Ocean. Amrita Udbhavam, which came out of the churning of the Milky Ocean. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि मामृतोद्भवम् विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
शांति बद्री भगिनी
नमस्ते।
Namaste.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
भानुरेखा भगिनी
नमस्ते महोदय
Namaste.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्
Good. Next.
शारदा राजन भगिनी
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं नराणां च नराधिपम्.
Good. Next, one more person.
शीला शिंदे भगिनी.
उच्चैश्रवसमश्वानां विद्धि माममृतोद्भवम् ऐरावतं गजेन्द्राणां नराणां च नराधिपम्.
Good. So now Bhagavan is now talking about his various glories, which we are able to easily connect with, right? Like yesterday, he was talking about, when we closed yesterday, he was talking about Ashwatha Sarva Vrikshanam. He talked about the people tree. And he said, among all the trees, I am Ashwatha tree. Okay, Ashwatha tree has got a lot of religious respect attached to it. And then he told, I am the Devarshina cha Narada. I am the among all the rishis, I am the Devarshi Narada. Okay. He is a Triloka Sanchari. He is not only confined to Devaloka, he goes all over Triloka Sanchari. If you look at any of the Puranic stories, in all the Purana, one person who keeps coming everywhere will be Narada. So he is such a kind of person who can go from place to place, supposed to be creating some kind of trouble, but at the end of the day, he'll create a trouble, or he'll make a kind of situation troublesome, but at the end of the day, he'll come out with a wonderful results. Everything you do, look at all the Puranas, he'll be coming somewhere and then he'll be showing up his presence. And then Gandharvanam Chitrataha. Chitrataha, Gandharvas, as I told you, is one of the lokas, where it's called Gandharva Loka. And the Gandharva Loka people are primarily interested in terms of arts, music, dance, all those kinds of things. And in the case of Gandharva Loka, Chitraratha is a person who is supposed to be a great, I think, singer. So he is also the leader of the Gandharva Loka. So he says that I am that particular Gandharvana Chitraratha. I am the Chitraratha Gandharva Loka. And I am also Kapila Munihi. So he talked about all these important people whom we all know. He is continuing now. Uchai Shavasamashvana Viddhi Mamamardutbhavam. He is taking a reference to Amrita Udbhavam. Amrita Udbhavam means the creation of the nectar, Amritam. So you all know the story which was coming in Bhagavatam, where once Durvasa was coming back from coming down after meeting Lord Vishnu in Vaikunta, and when he came and he was just accosted by Indra on the way. On seeing Indra, Durvasa gave him the garland which was given to him by Lord Vishnu. He thought he's meeting Indra, so he is giving that particular thing to Indra, garland. Indra was having so much amount of ego that time, and he was thinking that he is the person who is person who manages all the lokas. So he was having a lot of ego with him, and then out of the ego that he had, he just put the garland on the elephant. Most of you will know this story. And then that elephant that was getting the garland, he threw the garland down and then he trampled on the garland. So Durvasa got very, very angry and said, he told Indra that you are having so much amount of arrogance and ego, and all the lokas that you are ruling, all of you are cursed. That's what he said. Then once he told that, because he is the in charge of all the lokas, when he said that you're all cursed, then the demons, Asuras, had become very, very powerful. Then when the Asuras became powerful, then Indra had gone to Vishnu and then he pleaded. He said, please try to save us. Then he told, if at all you all want to be saved, Asuras, all the Devas to be saved from Asuras, best thing is that you go and talk to Bali. Bali was supposed to be the head of Asuras. At the same time, he was a very reasonably good person. And he said that let us all work towards getting the nectar, Amritam, by drinking which all of us will be able to have immortality. Then Bali agreed. Then because without the Asuras who had tremendous power, they cannot churn the milky ocean. So it's the Sagara Mandhanam that took place. So what did they do? They get Mandara hill was brought in as a kind of a rod that was required for churning. Then they brought that snake Vasuki was there, the divine celestial snake Vasuki was brought, and then the mount was going down and they were not able to hold it. Then Lord Vishnu becomes Kurma Avatara, and then he goes down to the ocean and he supports the entire Mandara mountain, and then the Vasuki snake was pulled, and one side Devas were pulling, Other side, the who is that? Deva Asuras were pulling. Initially, Asuras were given the tail of the snake, and the Devas were given the head of the snake. Then they said, no, no, why are you being partial towards all these things? We will only do the heads or tail. They said, we want only heads. Then they gave head, and they start churning the Milky Ocean. That's a Puranic story. When they did the churning of the Milky Ocean, lots of things start coming up. You have some kinds of poison came up, and some kinds of things came out. Some Navaratna Kaustuba, what Krishna was talking to be, having the gemstone. That Kaustuba came out. Then also came out Uchchaishtravasaha. Uchchaishtravasaha is a horse, a white horse, a kind of mythological horse. This horse came out of the churning of the ocean, and this horse becomes the horse of Indra. So Uchchaishtrabasam Ashvanam. It's very, very unique horse. This horse had, I think, 4 heads or 7 heads. I don't remember that. It's capable of flying, all those kinds of things as the Puranic stories. But it was a very, very unique and totally different type of a horse which had a lot of powers. Among the horses that had lot of powers. So he says, Uchchaishravasam Ashvanam. Among the horses, Ashvanam, I am Uchchaishtravasaha. Uchchaishtravasaha is a horse which came out of the Sagara Mantan. So he says, Vidhi, no, Mom, that is also me only. Amrita Udbhavam, the one which came out of the churning of the nectar. Sagara Mantanam. Then, when they were doing this kind of Sagara Mantan, they also had elephant coming out. Airavatam came out. Airavatam is an elephant with, I think, 7 faces, 7 trunks, and 4 tusks, and white elephant, all those kinds of things. It also came out. And even today, if you look at that way, you'll be able to find an Airavata elephant as an emblem in Thailand flag or Thailand, Laos, that particular country's flag also you find Airavatam. So that shows the kind of our cultural penetration across the Southeast Asian countries. So the Airavatam also came out, and Airavatam in some Puranic story, they say that it was used by Indra, and somebody says it was used by Bali. So it's all mythological stories, but it is supposed to be Gaja Indranam. Indra means head. Gaja Indranam means the best among elephants. So Airavatam. So Bhagavan says that Airavatam is also we. So he says Uchchaya Shabasam Ashvanam. Among horses, I am the Uchchaya Shabasaha, which is the most one of the best horses. And then in the case of elephants, I am Gajendra. That is, Airavatam is, I am Airavata. And all these things came out of Mam, Amrita Udbhavam. All these things came out of the Milky Ocean when it was all churned. And then Naranancha Naradipam. Narana means among the people. He says that I am the king of the people. So you have to understand that this is a political statement, that I am the king of the people. Like in the countries and all, where everybody is trying for the position that I want to be the prime minister, I want to be the president, etc. It's all a political position. But there also, he says that I am the king. But the political leadership that we have today, vis-a-vis political leadership of the Puranic age was that a Raja in those days, he was supposed to be, Paripalanam is one of his topmost job. He was supposed to take care of his prajas. That was his topmost job. And they were giving their life for taking care of their own people. You look at the story of Janaka, story of Rama. They were all people who were striving to take care of those their own prajas. So Naradipam means he says that I am the king of the people. So he was the one who takes care of Paripalanam. And even when you look at it from our own thing, we say the sustenance of people is by Vishnu. Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, we say sustenance of people or taking care of them when we are alive is taken care by Vishnu. So Naradipam, Naranancha Naradipam. So that is what he said. So even if you look at that way, during the Sagara Mantan, even Lakshmi Devi came. She is also called Sagara Raja's daughter. Lakshmi Shira Samudраja Tanayam Shirangadameswari. That's what we say. Shira Sagara. That's what she also came. Lakshmi also came, and Lakshmi became the consort of Lord Vishnu. And another thing is that when Lakshmi came, she was so wonderful. She was embodiment of wealth, embodiment of beauty, everything. And Samudra Raja wanted to find a very good alliance for Lakshmi. Then both Shiva also went and Vishnu also went. But Vishnu went with fantastic robes. He was having this nice Pitambaram and wonderful Alankara, and he went to meet Lakshmi. Shiva also went, but Shiva went with his deer skin and with Bal Basma and all. Raja said that I do not want to get my daughter married to a person who is not properly dressed. I'll give my daughter only in marriage to this particular person who is very handsome and smart and looking very well dressed up. Why they say is that they say that if you want to seek an alliance for your boy, you have to ensure that the boy goes properly dressed up. Otherwise, they will not be accepted, not only now, even in Puranic days. So, another important thing about the Sagara Manthanam is that this is equivalent to whatever we are doing in spiritual journey. In a spiritual journey, once we understand the principle of Tattvam, Bhagavan and our mind and body and consciousness, etc., we get into a situation of meditation where we start churning our mind. When we start churning our mind, lot of things will come up. Like the poison came out in the case of Sagara Manthanam, and then Lord Shiva was asked to take it and then keep it in his throat. So he was called Nilakanta. Similarly, when our minds are churned, in the case of our meditative practices in spirituality, lots of things will come out. And only towards the end, the nectar will come. The end is what is the nectar is called Amritam. Amritam is knowing oneself, and knowing self, you have absolutely conquered the cycle of birth and death. So Amritam in the Sagara Udbhavam, Amrita Udbhavam, and what we understand after churning the mind in terms of various things about meditative things about spiritual journey, what you get is the same Amritam, but Amritam is that you will not be having the cycle of birth and death. Other one is called nectar. He says that once you drink the nectar, you are going to have overcome the cycle of birth and death. So what is most important is that the Sagaravantanam has got to be metaphorically also understood as our own Sagaravantanam that needs to be done in the mind in terms of coming out. And during this process, a lot of good things will come. Like Airavatam will come, Ucheshtamasa will come, Lakshmi Devi also will come. So if a person is going to be tempted with any of these lower level offerings, he will have his own cycle of birth and death. But he has got to wait for the nectar of the entire thing. That was the last thing that needs to come. And that is what is going to be self-realization. That is another way of understanding this particular Sagara Manthanam or whatever that's what Amrita Udbhavam. Okay. So Uchchai Shavasamashvana Vidhi Mama Amrita Udbhavam Airavatam Gajendranam Naranancha Naradipam. Okay, next slokam.
Gurumurti Mahodaya.
Ayudhanamahau Vajram.
Ayudhanamahau Vajram. Ayudhanamahau Vajram.
Dhenu namasmi kamaduk.
Dhenu namasmi kamaduk. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk.
Ayudhanamahau Vajram. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk.
Ayudhanamahau Vajram. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk. Ayudhanamahau Vajram. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk.
Dhenu.
Dhenu. Ayudhanamahau Vajram. Dhenu namasmi kamaduk.
Good. Next.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bagini.
Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha.
Mrinalini Gopalan Bagini. Okay. Rajeshwari Shankar Bagini.
Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha.
Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha. Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha.
Sarpanamasmi vasukihi.
Sarpanamasmi vasukihi. Sarpanamasmi vasukihi.
Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha. Sarpanamasmi vasukihi.
Prajanaschasmi kandarpaha. सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक्.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक्. आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक्.
Good. Next.
शरत् चवन महोदय.
प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः. प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणास्मि वासुकिः.
Sarpanam asmi vasuki. You will find mam and amrutam coming lot of time. Asmi.
Yes.
Sarpanam asmi.
प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
वीणा फानिश्री भगिनी.
First line 2 times.
Yes, sir. Namaste, Mahoday.
Namaste.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामुदक.
Kamaduk.
कामदक. आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामदक.
Denunamasmi kamaduk. Not denu. Denunamasmi kamaduk.
धेनूनामस्मि कामदक.
Correct.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामदक.
Very good. Next.
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी.
Second line 2 times.
प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः. प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
शांति बद्री भगिनी.
Full shloka once.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
भानुरेखा भगिनी.
Full shloka.
Okay. आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक्. प्रजनश्चास्मि गन्धर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Khandarpah. Not Gandharpah. Khandarpah.
Okay. प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Next.
राजलक्ष्मी भगिनी.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
काश्मीरा भगिनी.
Yes, sir. First line or full stop?
Full shloka.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. Next.
लक्ष्मी बीवी भगिनी.
आयुधानामहं वज्रं धेनूनामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. One more person.
K. Lalita Bhagini.
आयुधानामहो वज्रं धेनो नामस्मि कामधुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः.
Good. So we got the meaning of this. So he says, Bhagavan continues, he is now talking about some of the very powerful glories. Okay. Now, next one is Ayudana Maham Vajram. Among the various weapons that is being used, there are a lot of astras. You might have seen in the case of Brahmastra, then different astras were there in our Mahabharata stories and also in Ramayana stories. Among all of them are Ayudam. Ayudam means weapons. Among the weapons, he says, I am Vajram, Vajrayudam. Vajrayudam is the weapon used by Indra. He is one of the most powerful weapons. The story goes in Bhagavatam that there was one Rishi by name Dadichi. This Dadichi Rishi had done a lot of tapas, and by virtue of his tapas, his body had become extremely strong and his bones have become extremely strong. And there, at that point in time, there was one big Asura who was troubling everybody. And then when people found it extremely difficult to defeat the Asura, he told that you take the bone from my back, from that you make a weapon, and with that weapon you'll be able to destroy anything in the world. So that is the way this Vajrayuda came. And the Vajrayuda was the weapon used by Indra. It's called a thunderbolt. That's what they say. Ayudana Maham Vajram is Vajrayudam is used by Indra. So he says that's one of the most powerful weapons. So when you look at weapons, sometimes we wonder, how can that weapon be more powerful? But again, if you look at the God's creation, they are just 4 meter long. Hydrogen fusion bomb can destroy a city like Bangalore or Hyderabad in no time. Just one bomb is sufficient. So if you look at that way, the weapons can be so powerful in the current scientific world. So look at imagine that's all again power of God only. If you look at that way, everything is power of God. And here Bhagavan says that if he is talking in the glory, he is talking the glories of things which are very, very huge. Very huge, powerful things, and he is talking about. So when you look at the entire creation, we have got very huge things that people are trying to see what it is. They find it glorious. They have got a telescope. They have got, now recently they have launched the, James Webb telescope around 15.5 million miles, 1.5 million miles away from Earth in solar orbit. They have put it to look at the entire cosmos from 1.5 million miles from the Earth. They are trying to see what is all happening in the cosmos. They are totally looking at the expansive cosmos with huge astral bodies. So they are trying to understand those things also. On the same count, if you look at that, is the highest, the biggest extreme they are trying to understand the universal big things in the universe. And if you look at that way, they are also having a huge 10 kilometers big colliders, atomic colliders in Switzerland, 10 miles, I think, where the particles are accelerated to the speed of light, and then they are made to collide, and then they are getting a lot of energy coming out of it. And so that is fission and fusion, and they are looking at the particles, they are looking at the energy, they are looking at the rays. So that is at the particle level, very, very small particles which are not even visible to our eyes. They are looking at the glory. They are finding every time when they find, earlier they said only atoms. Then they say electrons are there, then protons are there, neutrons are there. Then they are telling quantum mechanics is going on. So if you look at that way, a lot of things are there. Then they are also now, at this point in time, they are also talking about, at the bottom level, they are talking of both material as well as wave. Wave is also there. The wave energy is also being talked about. So if you look at that way, we say gross and subtle, matter and energy. At the bottommost level, very smallest particle, they are finding the glory in terms of material particles and waves. So quantum theories, that's the way they are looking at it. So look at the kind of glory. When you start looking at the glory, the entire mankind is now, scientific world is trying to understand the biggest of biggest things and smallest of smallest things also. And that's all the glories of Bhagavan. Okay. So when you look at this Vajram, I just thought this weapon. When you look at the weapon, atom bomb can be a huge weapon. And atom bomb is a fusion or fission of very, 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 very small particles. 10 to the power of minus 23 microns is the size of the atom and particles. And that has got so much amount of energy that it can generate. So look at the creation. That's something phenomenal. So Ayudanam Aham Vajram. Dhenunam Asmi Kamaduk. Dhenu in the case of Sanskrit is called cows. Among the cows, Dhenunam Asmi, I am Kamadenu. I think all of you are aware of this Kamadenu cow. Again, this Kamadenu cow also was a outcome of the Ksheerasagara Mantanam. It also came out of the Amrita Udbhavam when we were trying to churn the milky ocean. Kamadevanu also came, and this Kamadevanu cow was used by Vasishta. Sage Vasishta was worshipping and he was keeping it with him. And all of you may be aware of this story where once Vishwamitra Rishi with so hundreds of people, his followers, not Rishi, he was a Kshatriya at that time, a Raja. He was passing to Vasishta's place. He said, I want to stay back in your place for some time and go. Vasishta was very happy to host them. And then Vasishta, because he had a Kamadenu, he had got absolutely no problem in providing with any amount of food that was required by the number of guests he had. So he gave everything, and then Vishwamitra was satisfied, at the same time astonished as to how he was able to manage in an ashram to feed so many people. Then when he came to know that it is because of Kamadenu, the divine cow that he has got, everything has been possible, then Vishwamitra wanted that cow. Vasishta said, I cannot give the cow. Then I think all of you know the story. There was a big fight, all those things happened. And then finally Vishwamitra said, Vishwamitra thought that I am a Kshatriya, I am the most powerful person, and his fellow is only a Brahman and Rishi fellow. And how can this fellow be more stronger? And how is it that I am not able to do this? How is it that he is able to do it? Then he realized that it is the tapas that Vasishta had done. The tapas had given him so much amount of powers and strength. That made Vishwamitra Rishi, Vishwamitra to think of tapas. Then he does the tapas, he comes out Gayatri Mantra, then he is able to come back, apologize to Vasishta, and then they say, no, Vasishta Rishi in Vishwamitra's word. Finally he comes and accepts Vasishta. So this is all a story that you'll be finding in Ramayana. Why I am telling is that he was having Kamadenu. The Kamadenu is a thing that whatever you wish, it is capable of giving. Like Parijata tree, whatever you wish, it is possible to give. So he says that Kamadenu is me. So how can a cow give everything? It is going to be only Bhagavan. Bhagavan only gives things to all of us. So but in the case of this mythological story, Kamadevanu was supposed to give everything that is desired, and everything that can be given can be only by Bhagavan. So Bhagavan says, Kamadevanu is me. Denunam asmi Kamaduk. Then Prajanaschasmi Kandarpaha. In terms of the procreation and then the population that is Prajana, all these kinds of human creation, no? He says, I am the passion of love, Kandarpa. Kandarpa means is Kamadeva. He says that I am the Kamadeva as far as the creation is concerned, so that the humanity was able to procreate. We say in our thing, Kandarpa is equivalent to Kamadeva. Also in the Egyptian, they think of the god Eros. Okay. So he says, Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa. Then Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi. Among the serpents, he says, I am Vasuki, celestial serpent. Vasukihi. So he says, among the serpents, I am the celestial serpent Vasukihi. And Vasukihi, everybody knows that it was used for the churning of the ocean. So he says that all these things are me. Ayudanam Aham Vajram, Denunam Asmi Kamaduk, Prajanaschasmi Kandarpa, Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
Yes, Mother.
Anantaschasmi Naghanam.
Anantaschasmi Naganam. Anantaschasmi Naganam.
Varuno Yada Samaham.
Varuno Yada Samaham. Varuno Yada Samaham.
Anantaschasmi Naghanam. Varuno Yada Samaham.
Anantaschasmi Naganam. Varuno Yada Samaham. Anantaschasmi Naganam. Varuno Yada Samaham.
Good. Next.
Vijayalakshmi Bhagini.
Pitrunamaryama Chasmi.
Pitrunamaryama chasmi.
पितॄणामर्यमाचास्मि
यमसंयमतामहम्
यमसंयमतामहम्
पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्
पितॄणामर्यमाचास्मि यमसंयमतामहम् पितॄणामर्यमाचास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
श्रीलक्ष्मी भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम्
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम्
Good. Next.
गुरुमूर्ति महोदय
पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्
पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम् पितॄणामर्यमाश्चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
वीणा फानी श्री भगिनी
First line 2 times.
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम्
Good. Next.
शारदा राजन भगिनी
Second line 2 times.
पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमसंयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
के ललिता भगिनी
Full shloka.
Yes, sir. अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
साई लक्ष्मी भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
शांति बद्री भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
उषा श्रीनिवासन भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
शीला शिंदे भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. Next.
भानुरेखा भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्
Good. One more person.
राजेश्वरी शिवशंकर भगिनी
अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहम् पितॄणामर्यमा चास्मि यमः संयमतामहम्.
Good. So now he is continuing. He says next one is Ananta Naganam. So among Nagas is another type of snake. The snakes is I am Ananta. If you look at Ananta, Bhagavan is the bottom of the ocean. He is sleeping on a snake. That's called Ananta. Ananta Sayanam. That's what he says. Lying on Ananta. So if you look at that way, a snake's body is supposed to be very, very soft, one, supposed to be cool also. And Bhagavan used to have a coiled snake. Like the way we have coiled mattresses, he had a coiled mattress of snake, which was very cool and soft, and he was sleeping on that. In this sloka, he says, Anantas Chaspi Naganam. Among Nagas, I am the king Ananta, the snake on which he was lying down. Whereas if you look at the previous sloka, he says, Sarpanam Asmi Vasukihi. He says, among the serpents, I am Vasukihi. So here he says, Sarpanam, among the serpents, I am Vasukihi. And here he says, Naganam Anantaha Asmi. I am Naganam. So what I understand from various literatures is that a Sarpa is a poisonous one. If you look at Vasuki, Vasuki is poisonous. So when they are doing even the Sagara Manthan, poison came out of Vasuki's mouth when they were pulling it on either side. So it is a poisonous one. Sarpanam means it's all poisonous. And the king of Sarpas is say Vasuki, and the celestial snake, celestial serpent, and Nagas. They are also reptiles, but they don't have poison. So in that particular snake is what Bhagavan is lying down. One. Now, another thing we have to understand, Ananta. If you look at Ananta, what does it mean? There is no end. There is no end, it means eternal. So that particular thing, if you have to understand the snake of Bhagavan, that is eternal. And then we also said Adi Sesha. When you say Adi Sesha, we know the Sesha means leftover, right? So when everything is gone in the entire Pralaya time, everything goes. Nothing is left, but one thing is left over, which is the Sesha, which is left over. Which is the Sesha? Adi Sesha. So Adi Sesha is also supposed to be Bhagavan. Adi Sesha is also supposed to be Brahman. So that is the way we need to understand. So Bhagavan says that Anantascha Asmi Naganam. I am among Nagas. Ananta, the king of Nagas. I am the one. Okay. Then Varunaha Yadasam. Among Yadasam means the deities of water bodies. There are various deities are there. For water bodies in as the Puranic literature. Yadasam Aham Varunaha. So he says that among all the deities of water bodies, I am Samudra Raja is also one of the deities they worship. He says, I am Varunaha. Even when we do all these kinds of puja, we say Varunaya Namaha, Indraya Namaha, Prajapati Namaha. We only call Varuna and then invoke all the water bodies and all the water deities across the universe that we have, we call Varuna. So he says that Varuna is me. Varuna Yadasam Aham Varunaha. Among all the water deities, I am Varunaha. Then Pitrunam Arjama. Pitrunam means we, as per our Hindu mythology and Hindu belief, that anybody who has passed away, the body falls, the body is disposed of in the earth itself. Then the Sukshma Sarira goes to Pitruloka and joins with the Pitrus of the elderly Pitrus. The Sukshma Sarira is going to be there. And then based on, we also studied in the earlier chapters, he'll be in Swarga Loka for some time, he'll enjoy certain things and then come back once the Punya is all exhausted. So that Pitruloka is one thing that everybody is going to be there. It's supposed to be one of the good lokas. So Pitruloka is where everybody is going to be there. And the king of Pitruloka is called Arjama. Pitruloka's manager is Arjama. And Bhagavan says, I manage that. I am that. Pitrunam Arjamam Asmi. So he says that I am not only the Naradipa when you are living in the earth. That is, I am not only the king of ruling all of you. Pitrunam Arjamam Asmi. In the Loka of mains or Pitrus, I am Arjama. And then next one he says, Yamaha Samyatam Aham. Yamaha. Yamaha means one of the immediate meaning that comes to our mind is the Lord of Death. That's what we think. The person comes, when he comes, he takes away the person, it makes the person dead in this world. That's what we say. But in Sanskrit language, if you look at that way, there are two things. One is Yama and Niyama. Both of them are very important in terms of our own spiritual growth. Niyama means, I think we have discussed about this in earlier chapters also. Niyama means our own restraint in terms of social obligations. When I am traveling on the road, I need to ensure that I'm respecting the traffic rules. When I'm going to go to the airport, I have to respect the line formation there. That is niyamam. There is a wherever we are, there are certain kind of rules and regulation which we need to comply with social obligation because we are all social animals. Niyama. Yama means self-control. Anything that is controlled. Yama means we have a lot of self-control. But now in this case, Yama means ultimately the person who controls, who is the controller, who is the ultimate controller is Yama. Yama means, and another thing is that Samyatamaham. The person as the total controller is Yama. Sayata means controlling. Sayatam is Yamaha. So the Yama that we all know as the Lord of Death is the person who controls. Okay, what does it mean by he controls? We all think that he is only killing, that is making a person die. But when you look at that way, we all think that, I am now doing a wonderful exercise. I'm having a proper, regular right kind of diet, etc. I'm having. So I am keeping very healthy. Can we say that we are having total control on our body? No, the body starts falling. Then what we do, we go to a doctor. The doctor also, do you think the doctor has got a control? He has got no control. The entire control of this particular body is only with Yama. So that Yama is the person who ensures that the body is separated from the Chaitanyam. That the life in the body is removed only by that separation takes place only because of the Yama. And Bhagavan says, I am that person. Yamaha Sayatam Aham. So Bhagavan says that everything, if you look at everything, there is a kind of life that happens in this world. There are a lot of things that happens, and the creation is there, birth is there, death is there, sustenance is there, or everything. He says, I am the one who is responsible. So understand me. It is my glory because of which everything is being sustained in this world. It is my glory because of which we cannot have control on ourselves. We can say that we are a big shot. I am so-and-so, I am Rockefeller, or I am so Bill Gates. But we don't have control on ourselves because the control of existence in this life, in this body, is not in our hands. It is in the hands of somebody. And that somebody who is a controller is Bhagavan. So Bhagavan says, Yama Samyatam Aham. So he says, Anantaschasmi Naganam Varunaha Yadasamaham Pitrunam Arjamacha Asmi Yama Samyamatamaham. So we'll take one more shloka.
Kashmira Bhagini.
Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam.
Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam. Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam.
Kalah Kalayatamaham.
Kalah Kalayatamaham. Kalah Kalayatamaham.
Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam. Kalah Kalayatamaham.
Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam. Kalah Kalayatamaham. Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam. Kalah Kalayatamaham.
Good. Next.
Shanti Badri Bhagini.
Mruganancha Mrugendroham.
Mruganancha Mrugendroham. Mruganancha Mrugendroham.
Vainateyascha Pakshinam.
Vainateyascha Pakshinam. Vainateyascha Pakshinam.
Mruganancha Mrugendroham. Vainateyascha Pakshinam.
Mruganancha Mrugendroham. Vainateyascha Pakshinam. Mruganancha Mrugendroham. Vainateyascha Pakshinam.
Good. Next.
Lakshmi Bibi Bhagini.
Prahlaadaschasmi Daityanam. Kalah कलयतामहम्
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम् प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम्
Good.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रेऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां
मृगेन्द्रोऽहं
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां
When you read it,
मृगा
your thought should not be droham. It should be mruga indra aham. Mruga indraha aham. That is mruga indraha means king of animals. Mruga indraha aham means mruganam. Among the animals, mruga indraha aham. I am the king of animals. That is I am the lion. That is the way. So droham should be, you should be thinking that I am talking about mrugen droham. That is indra aham. That thought should be there. Otherwise, you may think it is droham. You understand? You have to think aham
Mriga Indra aham.
indraha aham mriga. Mriga
Yes,
indraha aham mrigendroham. Okay.
Shall I
Sometimes
say
we
it
may
again,
have
sir?
thought that it is droham. Droham means we think, oh, something is going to be, somebody is doing some kind of deceit to somebody. That's why we think about. Just I thought I should explain. Mrughanancha mrugendroham.
But the pronunciation will come like that only,
It
sir.
will come like that, but I'm just trying to tell you
The
that
meaning
when you,
will be different.
otherwise the mind will start thinking droham. So I
Yes,
thought I should put it upfront in the mind so that it is not droham, it is indraha aham indroham.
Okay, sir. Shall I repeat,
I
sir?
repeat like that.
मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणां मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Okay, good. Next.
Vijay Lakshmi Bhagini.
Full shloka.
प्रकलादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालकलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Good. Next.
Veena Fani Shri Bhagini.
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम् मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Good. Next.
Srimati Bhagini.
Yes, sir. प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Good. Next.
Raja Lakshmi Bhagini.
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
Good. Next.
Sheela Shinde Bhagini.
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्
I think there is a small spelling mistake in the slide that you say. It's not Prahlada. What you chanted now is Prahlada, which as per this, but it's Prahlada. I think Ha should be small, La should be big. So I think Kanchana Behini can note it down. It is Prahladascha, Prahlada, son of Hiranyakashipu. Prahladascha Asmi Daityanam. Okay? Can you repeat again?
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां
Prahlada, not Prahlada. Prahlada. Prahlad.
Prahlad.
No, Prahlad.
Prahlad. Okay.
Prahlad. That Narsimha
Prahlad.
Prahlad.
Okay. Prahladashmi Daityanam.
Right. It's Narsimha Avatara. Prahlad is what he's taking a reference here. I think when there's a small mistake which needs to be corrected later. So you take the Prahlad.
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 Prahaladascha. Prahaladashasmi Daitya.
Prahlad.
Prahlad.
Not Hallad. Prahlad. That Hiranyakashipu Narsimha Avatara story. Prahlad.
Yeah, sir. But we say Prahlad only in our language. So it comes like that.
You say Prahlad only?
Yeah. In Marathi,
Okay.
Prahlad. Yeah.
Prahlad.
Prahlad. Yeah.
Oh, sorry, then I was not aware of that. Sanskrit is Prahlad only. Okay, doesn't matter. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, next one more person.
Bhanureka Bhagini.
प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहम् मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहम् वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम्.
One more person.
Sri Lakshmi Bhagini.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, full stop.
Prahladaschasmi daityanam kalakalayataamaham mriganam cha mrigendroham vainateyascha pakshinam.
Fine. So we'll Aditi and Diti, these are all daughters of Daksha, Prajapati, and they were married to Kashyapa Muni. Kashyapa. And Aditi is the mother of Kapila Muni. We had spoken about it 2 days back. Siddhana Kapilo Munihi. Diti is another wife of Kashyapa, and she had given birth to Rakshasas. So whoever is born out of Diti is called Daitya. Daityana means among the putras of Diti. Okay. So Daityanam Prahladaha Asmi. So among those Rakshasas, Hiranyakasipu, Hiranyaksha, all those people were there. Bhagavan says, I am Prahlada. So if you look at that way, Bhagavan says that he is a boy who has demonstrated, despite being born in a demonic family, despite being threatened by his father, despite by all kinds of ordeals that he faced, despite his environment was not conducive for him to worship Bhagavan, he was so devoted to Lord Vishnu. So he said that Prahlad itself is me. So Daityanam Prahladaha Asmi. Okay. So next is Kalaha Kalayatamaham. Kalayatam means counting. There are a lot of things that we measure. Okay. So among the various measures that we do, sometimes we measure weight, sometimes we measure something. So a lot of things in the world are measurable. But Bhagavan says that the counting of time, the time that is there, which is there in this entire universe, which is being counted, is me. So if you look at that way, time is gone, but time is counted. Today we are in 2024, 10th of July. Tomorrow when we meet, 10th is gone. Counting is started. That it becomes 11th. So time is there. That particular time being a counter, which is one of the biggest counting which goes on to eternity. Bhagavan says that is me. Kala Kalagatam. Measure of time is me. And then Mriganancha Mrigendroham. Among the animals in the animal kingdom, I am the lion. Mriga Indra Aham. Like Gaja Indra means king of elephants. Mriga Indra means king of animals. King of animals, lion I am. And then Vainateyascha Pakshinam. Among the birds, I am Garuda. Vainateya is the name of Garuda also. So among the birds, I am Varuna. I am Garuda. Among the birds, I am Garuda. So if you look at that way, you look at the animal kingdom, you can only think of lion, magnificent lion, huge lion. Bhagavan says it is me. When I start looking at the skies, what is flying, the biggest thing that I can see is Garuda, which is also a Vahana of Bhagavan Vishnu. Bhagavan says it is me. Next Shloka is going to say what is going to be there in the water bodies, water animals. Biggest thing is he is going to say, Makaras Chasmi, I am the crocodile or whale. That's what he says in the subsequent chapter. So anything that you look at in the creation, which is catching our eyes and which is make us feel awe-inspiring things, brilliant inspiring things, and be it sentinel or insentinel, like Himalaya is Jada, that is also making us feel awe. Then you look at the whale, we feel this thing, that is also me. You look at Vainateya, huge Garuda which flies, it is me. If you look at lion, majestic, king of the thing, nobody can go near it, it is me. So when you look at that way, Bhagavan says that anything in the creation which is immediately catching your eyes, which you feel that it is something that we need to wonder, like Vasuki or Ananta Shayanam, it's all me. So if you look at that way, Bhagavan is now talking about his Aneka Rupa, and the glories and the power. If you look at the power, he can also talk about the smallest of the small that we talked about in the case of atoms, and biggest of the biggest where they're using a telescope to identify how the entire universe is. So anything that you have, there is huge or the smallest. Anuraniyan, Anusmaredhyah, that is what we see in Taittiriya Upanishad. That is smallest of the small is also me. Biggest of the big is also me. The biggest of the moving things is me. Biggest of the non-moving things is me. Biggest of oceans is me. So that is the way he's talking about his glories. And we'll continue with the glories tomorrow. Uchchaishravasavashvanam viddhimamamrutodbhavam airavatang gajendranam naranancha naradipam ayudhanamaham vajram धेनूनामस्मि कामदुक् प्रजनश्चास्मि कन्दर्पः सर्पाणामस्मि वासुकिः अनन्तश्चास्मि नागानां वरुणो यादसामहं पितॄणामर्यमाच्छास्मि यमः संयमतामहं प्रह्लादश्चास्मि दैत्यानां कालः कलयतामहं मृगाणां च मृगेन्द्रोऽहं वैनतेयश्च पक्षिणाम् ॐ पूर्णमदः पूर्णमिदं पूर्णात् पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः हरिः ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ